If you've never been to Disney World before, but you're thinking about planning your very first trip, stop. You need to hear this first. Hi theme park friends, welcome back to Casey's Corner Reviews, where we bring you the best tips, tricks, and insights to make your Disney vacation truly magical. If that sounds good to you, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you can get more of what you're looking for. In this video, I'm going to cover everything from when to book, where to stay, dining, lightning lanes, and even transportation. So grab a Mickey bar and let's dive in. One of the big questions that I get is, when should I book my Disney vacation? The answer? You can technically book a trip up to 499 days in advance. That means if you're eyeing a trip for next year, you can secure your spot now. Booking windows open for a year, generally in the early spring, the year before. For example, you could book a trip for the first week of December 2026 when the booking window opens in, say, March of 2025. That's over a year to pay towards and plan your trip. But when should you book? If you want the best selection of hotels, you should book at least 6 to 12 months in advance, especially if you're looking at those popular hotels on property. You want to have the most options for pricing, location, and perks. The second reason booking early is a good idea is locking in your price. Disney pricing increases on average of 2 times a year. Booking your stay and ticket package earlier rather than later avoids paying any price increases that might happen while you're just thinking about it. Another thing you should know is that you can modify your vacation package without penalty up to 30 days before you arrive. So you book your future trip, something comes up, you have to change the dates or components, you can do that. However, changing the components may lead you to paying the difference for the current pricing. By far, the number one question that I get is, how much does it cost to go to Disney World? I venture to guess that you've researched this answer and came up with the same result. It depends. Unfortunately, that is the correct answer. But for true details, let's talk about hotel pricing. Price fluctuates dramatically based on the time of year, and this could impact your costs in a big way. I'm going to provide approximate pricing for each resort level as peak, which is summer, school holidays, Christmas, New Year, and then off-peak, which includes late August, September, January, February, etc. I think you get the idea. The pricing does not include tickets or discounts that are often available throughout the year. So let's take a look. Let's talk about value resorts. These are the budget-friendly resorts, hotels on Disney property, and those include the All-Star Resorts, Art of Animation, and Pop Century. For peak season, those rooms go for about $200 to $300 a night. But off-peak season, the same rooms go for $150 to $200 a night. The moderate resorts, which include Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter, Caribbean Beach, and Coronado Springs, for peak season, a room at one of those resorts is going to cost you $350 to $500 a night. Off-peak season, the rooms start at $250 a night and go up to $350 a night. Those deluxe resorts, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Contemporary, the ones that offer the 1 to 3 bedroom grand villas, peak season, you're going to pay $700 to $1,200 per night. The off-peak season, however, will cost you $450 to $700 a night. So you can see how your prices are going to vary depending on when you go. If you want to save money, consider visiting in late January, September, or early December when crowds and prices are lower. Now, should you stay on property at a Disney resort or off property? Let's break it down. On property perks, meaning you're a resort guest on Disney property, you get early theme park entry, free transportation, the ability to book lightning lanes earlier, and the deluxe resort guests can take advantage of extended evening hours. In addition, you also get advanced dining reservations. And what does all that mean? Early theme park entry means that you can enter the park a half an hour before it opens to the public. Free transportation? That seems pretty obvious. You get free transportation from your resort hotel to the Disney parks and back. The ability to book lightning lanes earlier, we're going to talk about that later in this video. For deluxe resort guests, that extended evening hours, those are offered on select nights at select parks after the park closes to the public. And advanced dining reservations means if you have a restaurant that you want to eat at, you're going to be able to book it earlier than anybody else. By staying off property, the advantages are you might get a more affordable hotel or even an Airbnb. But you'll need to factor in getting a rental car and parking fees. If you stay on property at a Disney resort, you get free parking at the parks and at the resort. Off-property guests pay about $31 to park at the parks. $31 a day. Now let's talk about paying for your trip. If you book a vacation package that's a room and tickets, you're responsible to pay $200 as a deposit per room if you book through Disney. Then you can pay as you go up to 30 days before you arrive. Your reservation needs to be paid in full 30 days before you check in. So let's talk about ticket pricing. Tickets at Disney World are going to cost you, at the very least, $109 for one park a day. However, it's rarely that cheap. Those are the cheapest dates. And pricing varies per day, per park, and whether or not you add the park hopper option or not. The park hopper option is a ticket add-on that you pay for that allows you to move from one park to another in one day. I personally recommend, if you've never been to Disney World before, that you only visit one park per day and skip the park hopper option. That way you can get the most out of each individual park and you're not paying extra money. But you want to know about pricing. The cheapest Disney tickets are going to come if you book them with a package, meaning if you plan to stay on Disney property and you add the tickets to your reservation. In addition, the more days you have on your tickets, the less money per day you pay. So if you're only going to go for one day, say you're going to pay $109 for that one day park ticket. In comparison, if you were to, say, get a 10-day ticket, then each day of that ticket is only going to cost you, hypothetically speaking, $56 a day. Now, these numbers aren't real. I'm just giving you examples or a way to explain it to you better. That leads me to whether or not you should add Disney travel insurance. The current cancellation policy through Disney is this. If you have to cancel your trip anytime before 30 days from check-in, you get all of your money back. If you cancel 30 days to 2 days before your check-in, there's a $200 fee, but you get the rest of your money back. Travel insurance covers your cost from 24 hours before check-in all the way through your trip. What is covered with the insurance is something you want to research before you purchase, and you can add that travel insurance at any time before that 30-day mark and that you're paid in full. Disney travel insurance costs around $82 per adult. Do you want to be able to skip the lines and save time? This is where Disney's Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, Single Pass, and Premier Pass come into play. These are tools that you need to do that. They are open and are available to purchase in the Disney app at a specific time depending on where you are staying. Through the Multi-Pass and Single Pass service, guests reserve a specific time window to arrive at an attraction and ride without waiting in the regular line. To put it simply, if you want to skip the lines, you have to pay for it. So what is Multi-Pass? Multi-Pass is access to multiple rides per day. Prices vary based on demand. Average pricing per park per person per day is around $17 to $29. Single Pass means you pay per ride for high-demand attractions like Tron or Rise of the Resistance. It also includes Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Flight of Passage, and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Average pricing per ride is around $12 to $20 per attraction per person and changes daily. The Premier Pass gets you unlimited Lightning Lane access to all participating attractions in one park for one day. The cost of that, $150 to $550 per person, and it varies greatly depending on the park you choose. Guests staying at Disney-owned hotels on property, plus the Disney Swan, Swan Reserve, Dolphin, and Shades of Green can purchase and book their Lightning Lane reservations 7 days before they check in through the Disney app for each park day of their trip up to 14 days. Guests staying off property can make the purchase and reserve lightning lanes 3 days prior to their park visit. So what do you need to know about dining? Disney World has different options when it comes to how you eat. First, there's counter service locations, and they are exactly what you'd expect. You order a meal at a counter, then you find a seat and you eat. These are referred to as quick service locations on Disney property. Then, you have the full service or table service locations. These are restaurants where you're seated by a host, you order through a waitstaff, and your meal is brought to you. But many of those table service locations have lounges attached. So what is the most important thing to know about before you go? All table service locations in Disney World require reservations. Quick service locations do not, and lounges are first come, first serve for seating. If you plan to eat at a table service restaurant on your vacation, you should make a reservation 60 days in advance. While some have walk-up wait lists, you can join the day of. Oftentimes, they are not available. So why take the chance? If you know there is a specific restaurant you want to eat at during your vacation, make the reservation. It costs nothing to reserve, with a few exceptions. So let's talk about transportation from the airport. You have your choice of how you get from point A to point B between the airport and your hotel. Disney World used to offer a free shuttle service, Magical Express. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case. So here are a few options and prices. Mears Connect and Sunshine Flyers are shuttle services from the airport. They're going to cost you between $16 to $32 per person round trip. If you choose to do a ride share like Uber or Lyft, expect to pay about $40 to $70 each way. And then you have the option of renting a car. Expect to pay for any rental car between $40 and $80 per day. There are also quite a few private transport companies in the area that offer services at different price points. If you're still feeling overwhelmed and confused after all of this information, I understand it's a lot. We recommend using travel planners. Travel planners are there to help you build and book your vacation. They're there to answer all of your questions and to personalize your trip. The best part is many travel planners don't come at any added cost to your vacation. We recommend Disney Vacations with Jessica Yashin. However, whoever you choose should be someone that you feel comfortable with, someone who communicates with you easily, and someone who is going to listen to all of your concerns. So there you have it. Planning a Disney trip can feel overwhelming, but with the right info, you'll be ahead of the game. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Casey's Corner Reviews. Then drop your Disney questions in the comments below. We'll see you in the parks.